All righty.
All right, welcome back. We're going to start session actually 4. It's been a while. We have and welcome to the Live and Low show. As Lowy show. I always forget that.
It's
Okay,
so nice.
so welcome back to the Live and Lowy show. It's been a while since we recorded. This is going to be session 4. We were on a little bit of a hiatus because of Christmas and Thanksgiving. I think we recorded last time. What was it? Thanksgiving that we recorded right before then. But we are getting back in the swing of things. It's January 2026. So we're going to recap some of the things we talked about in season 3 or session 3. Now listen, like season. Here we go. We left off talking about Loey's dating escapades with South Dakota. And then we sort of left off with the attachment piece. So we were talking about how attachment affects our dating relationships and secure attachment versus anxious or fearful avoidant. And today we're going to kind of chime in on that, but we're also going to do a recap of what's been going on in our lives and just an update from November to now. So how's life been for you?
Yes, let's get chatting. It's been, I always want to say it's been good because nothing terrible's happening. Life is life in me, but I've been okay. I mean, it's like attitude is everything. You know what I mean, pal? It's like you really gotta just say like, if something bad happens, it's still okay. So that's always my framework. So I'm not a Pollyanna, but I do feel like I'm just gonna keep the positive moving and make do with what's happening. Life just has given me some lemons, making lemonade.
Yeah.
Because more recently, I got my heart broken again.
Oh no!
It was interesting. So I got love bombed. Have you gotten love bombed before?
Yeah, we talked about it in session 2.
Are we saying Copper was a love bomber?
Yeah. Copper. Well, I don't know that she was a love bomber, but I think she definitely had that. She set me up for feeling that high.
Yeah.
And then it was cut off.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Do you consider that a love bomber? Like, what's the definition of being love bombed? Somebody's saying like, "Oh, I'm going to give you the world. You're everything."
Yeah. So I think love bombers, in definition, they're just coming out the gate, promising you multiple things. They're very much like, you are my everything. We're going to get married. You are it.
I have that.
And that's how I felt with her. I definitely remember, I think I told you about the first date we met, and, she was all in right after we kissed.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was like, wait. I was the one to slow it down.
Okay.
Because I wasn't sure. And I don't know if that triggered maybe some of her avoidant behaviors.
Yeah.
Because I think after that, she was very slow.
Okay. Yeah.
She didn't back off 100% then, but some other things happened obviously throughout. And then I feel like that's when it definitely like went from love bomb to not even saying I love you. Where before she was like, in, I love you. And then it was like, those are big words for me. I can't say that stuff. And I'm like, wait a second, you said it from day one.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden you can't say these
That
things?
kind of happened to me too.
And I was like, that's crazy. So,
I'm glad it happened to you too, actually. I have a hat on because Olivia's house is cold, by the way.
It's freezing. Well, first of all, let's talk about the temperature outside.
Yeah, true.
It's like -2. So I have my heat on like nothing in all these rooms. I keep the vents turned off because it's freezing. We switched locations. Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
we're in a new location, and so before you get into love bomb, let me just tell you.
Yeah, go ahead, because I can hang on to love bomb. Yep, it's fresh.
I want to just tell you some things about my life, and then we'll get to you because I feel like your segment's going to take a minute. So let's see. I think we vaguely went into
what was
talking about up until after Copper, went on that little pause dating, and then I met Hooks.
Yeah.
Well, we met on the dating site, and we are engaged now. We got engaged in October. I think it was literally before our last recording, because I don't think I was engaged when we did our last recording.
I don't remember. Right around the same time, though. Yeah. But I'm happy for you, pal.
Positive.
That is a positive experience. Our viewers might need that to hear that.
I think I was, and I didn't share it.
I think
so. The champagne to our last recording.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so I had recently gotten engaged, and we set a date finally, which is in May.
And May's your birthday month.
Yeah. I was reluctant about that. Let's even talk about that.
I'm torn.
We talked about dates. We were like, okay, we've been married twice.
pick.
This is going to be lucky 3.
Lucky 3. You got it. You're locked in.
So we're like, what dates do we pick? Because what
Yes.
month is not open for like, people you've dated, anniversaries,
Oh,
other
okay.
things.
Okay, I kind of forget all those.
So I was like, this half of the year is ruined. This half of the year is ruined.
You were
So I'm
kind of
like-
more superstitious that way. So like I
Yeah.
could see that counting. more
But
for
she
you.
was too. And even
Okay,
just
yeah.
nailing down locations is hard. Like, where do we
Yeah,
go?
yeah.
We haven't been with exes.
Yeah.
And so, we picked May. I was okay with it because my birthday's the beginning. It's the very end. And we met in May. So we met May 28th, and so it'll be our first, our 1 year, but we're gonna do it on 5:30 at 5:30.
Oh, that's a good one.
So
yeah.
We actually might change it to 8:30 though. We want sunset. We picked the beach.
That's good too.
So you better find your +1. We gotta stop this dating shit.
People, please.
We're gonna find the +1 too already.
+1. I'm reaching out to the internet.
Everyone will now know Hooks is the one that hooked it. Yep. So we're getting married, and then the other flip side that's just been crazy is I found out I have to have a hysterectomy, which is coming up next week, which sucks. So women's health.
Women's health.
We've all been there and through things that are crazy and stuff.
Yeah.
And almost 50 and have to have a hysterectomy sucks. So I'm hoping things kind of change up with having the hysterectomy. Anybody suffering with PCOS or just any women's health issues can relate to this to reach out once eventually we go live and open dialogue for our Facebook page and stuff for people to chime in and talk about stuff. Because we also want people to come on and share things with us too on our show, and to give us any feedback of things that you guys have been through that we like to talk about. So I'm not going to get all into the gravy of it, but just
you don't have to get into the gravy. The other thing too you did want to talk about, we can note it for another time, is your friend has that condition, lichens.
So I want to bring her on. She actually wrote
talking about women's health.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
She's wrote 2 books on
That's
lichens,
awesome.
and she has a massive following on Facebook, over 20,000 women, which is crazy to even think about.
Yeah.
And she believes, and not to be TMI, but she believes my partner might suffer from it, and she had a similar scenario that fits the description. But we're not really sure, but a lot of women it's an autoimmune disease, which we know women
makes sense.
And trauma.
I got some stuff going on
and women any with trauma are more prone to autoimmune diseases anyways. So
do you think it's the firing of the nervous system?
Yes.
Okay, because I do want to talk about somatic techniques later. Because I'm training myself. So if you want to,
it's definitely with the neuro system, and trauma causes permanent damage to our nervous system. Although a lot of the behaviors can be reversed, but the book, The Body Keeps the Score, talks about the neurological issues that are caused from trauma, and that women suffer from autoimmune.
So you don't think that's reversible? I'm trying to be on the hope thing.
The
I just
autoimmune?
opened with
no, autoimmune disorders are not.
Do you just think like
damage
from trauma though? I mean autoimmune. You're kind of stuck with it. But going back to like trauma, the body keeps the score. But like things like EMDR.
Oh no! I think trauma is definitely reversible. I think we're always going to have the.
You just think it's
fragment
stuck in the body?
Yeah. Well, so I believe we have fragments, right? And I think like a vase or anything that gets broken, it's glass. You could glue it back together. Okay. So I think of ourselves as like a vase that's got broken and you glue it. Okay. So you're always going to have the bruise or the scar or the imprint. Okay. But definitely we can learn to work through it. Yeah. Coping strategies. EMDR is okay. I like to do a lot of trauma-informed care. So I think, and then art wave therapy and somatics, definitely healing components. So yes, trauma can be tolerable. Just as much as any of the autoimmune diseases, medication makes it more tolerable. As mostly everything I read is exercise or diet and like lifestyle.
I'm in it to win it. I haven't talked about my gym obsession. That I am in it to win it with the gym and nutrition. I was thinking about going back and get my personal training certificate.
Yeah, I think it would be great.
I just don't know. I'm going to be in the 50 above crowd though. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, who's going to get personal training from a 50-year-old?
But there's so many women that are in the 40s to 50 range that are trying to get fit. And
True.
God, who doesn't hate going to the gym and having people look at you?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
having like a women's gym for 40 and above or 50 and above,
That's solid.
it's definitely, I think, a market.
Well, you and I have talked about this too. Do we want to talk about our future plans, like how we think about like
Yeah, I think so. I
the
think,
center or
yeah,
therapy
yeah, I think
as
it
a
would be
whole?
great.
Ooh,
Oh, it's okay.
I knew that was going to happen. I said it. I said, I hope it
It's
doesn't
okay.
hit our heads.
I didn't want to hang it on the wall because I'm trying to sell my house. So
I said I
I'm
didn't
trying
want it
not
to
to
hit
put
us.
more
I
walls in
did
it.
because it'd be funny. So that's so funny. Our center. So Olivia and I both do therapy. We have clients. I was thinking, because I'd worked with eating disorders in the past, wouldn't it be a good idea? I always wanted to open a gym and do the mental health part of it, but also the body part of it, so we can really integrate it. Because I'm like, talk therapy is great. I think it has its purpose, but also add in more of the body stuff, the somatic, the yoga, which you probably do a lot more of with your trauma-informed care stuff, that you really got to get into that kind of touch to your body, not just your mind. Because I'm so analytical, I see it as a deficit with myself even. Where I just want to analyze everything, which we could also talk about, because that's actually an anxious, behavior to analyze things. Because I'm trying to predict and control an outcome. So I'm trying to think all the ways through, right? And so if we get into our bodies, we do more body work. And if it's eating disorders or women over 40, 50, make it a women's center where it's a safe space, that would be great. You were thinking about doing Reiki even as just like another modality. So we're trying that. We got plans.
Can bring in all kinds of healers.
Yes, all kinds of healers.
I have a couple other friends who are therapists, and they have some treatments, and then other friends that are wanting to get into Reiki as well as other things. I think just the healing center in general. I think talk therapy is great. We've been doing it both for a long time. But I really think movement and getting out of the chair.
That's how we started
people to actually heal. Because I've been doing therapy for so long, and I just see like people, they were receptive, but after about 6 sessions of talk therapy, I feel like they're ready to dip out, or like, this is great. And then you have your stragglers that want to stay for the talk and the ideas. But honestly, I think most people are wanting like something that's going to make them feel something. So I think movement is a way for that in somatic. So I think we have a lot of avenues that we want to open and get that going eventually. It's a matter of like getting and going.
It's hard because we both have full-time jobs, but we also are dreamers. We have ideas, and so we'll get it going. We'll get it manifesting. We'll see how this goes.
No, we don't want to share too much of it.
No, it doesn't.
We don't want people stealing our ideas.
No.
I think a lot of people,
adding body work is good.
I think it's location, and that the hardest thing is it's not going to be insurable. So it's one of those things that people are going to have to pay out of pocket. That we'll have to be creative with how much we charge and like how many sessions or whatever it is for health and wellness for people, because insurance, I don't know how we could bill movement, without talking to someone. I mean, I guess you can start off. We'll figure those ends out. But
definitely could bill for the talk part of it, but you'd have to have like a physical therapy certificate or something, or a degree to consider body, to do body work. I would think, wouldn't you? I don't know. Something to think about. Anyway, we got off track. I don't know how we got over here.
We always know we're like all over the place.
I don't know how we got there.
Even though we have notes here. So
I got my page too.
All right, so we're gonna kind of jump in.
What were we talking about before that?
Can you see the timer too on this? Because I can't.
Oh, honey, I'm
we have it so far away now that we're recording. We just want to stay on
13 minutes.
Okay,
we're doing good.
So we're going to go into, I guess we'll segue, because in session 4, we're going to be bringing in, or actually, this is session 4 now. In session 5, we're going to bring in special guests. Probably session 6 and 7, when we record again after my surgery, we're going to have some special guests, or maybe a live Facebook feed. So stay tuned for that. And I'll be sharing our Facebook feeds this coming week after I get these recordings uploaded. So then people can chime in during our live recordings on Facebook, as well as special guests of topics that we're going to continue on. And we have so many topics of things we really
that's why we jump around
for the future.
We
have so many ideas.
Again,
the canonness of this is Convos and Chaos, because we're therapists and we deal with all kinds of conversations, including our life. So it's basically us being unfiltered and talking about life and therapy topics as well as our own personal stuff. So
And we can segue with that because I was thinking about this. I'm now at the point with the online dating where I think it's an occupational hazard for me. I know you
yeah,
had a good experience. I have
yeah.
not. I think
Well, I didn't have a lot of good
right. That's
experience.
true. You
And
did.
I think I got the lottery finally.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
and I don't know that it wasn't because I was telling you the other day, like, I don't know if it was because I really weeded myself out and I did the let them theory of trying to do the 365 rule, but I did it long enough so that when I sat with myself alone and I worked through some of the attachment stuff and the attachment workbooks and things I did to really secure in and make sure I was secure, that when I found a person, I asked those questions. I was
Yeah.
literally like on a job interview.
Right.
Like,
That's how
hey,
I'm feeling.
and like it was just so funny when I met Hooks. It was like she was like, I gotta have the perfect kisser too. And I'm not doing like we literally just aligned with
Yeah.
everything that we had been through.
Right.
And the stories. And I think she had just recently been divorced and she also had a really bad dating experience at the start of her dating experience rebound. And I think we're just so candid about like this is what we're not looking for. And we also both said we weren't looking for a relationship. We literally segued and said, like, I don't know that we're looking to date. But we also said we were going to have sex. That was another peg way.
Right.
We waited 30 days.
Yeah.
She wanted her girl moment. And so I was like, maybe that was the difference before I had sex.
Yeah.
We did all the things.
Yeah.
And we built it up for 30 days before we actually met. And then we had sex. And I know you've done all that. But I don't know.
I'm going to reaffirm that because I was thinking about you guys where I was like, okay, I'm going to not going to have sex again before because it threw things off with my most recent gal.
Yeah.
And so the reason, okay, so segue, do you want to hear about Corey? We're going to scholar Corey.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this got it got sad for me, pal, because I was thinking about you and Hooks and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of the slow burn, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As much as you were like a metered slow burn, like
with
intention, you
Yeah.
know? And I think there's a difference
versus
absolutely. Slow burn and it fizzles.
Yeah.
So it was so I was thinking about that. So I was like, that is what I want. I want to get married. I want to have a house one day, you know, with my person. I want to move in. Because two of my other friends, they're buying houses with their partners. They just met last year. You guys are getting married. My other two friends just got married. They've been together 2 years. And I went to their wedding. So it was just at the wedding a couple weeks ago.
That has to be depressing.
It got a little depressing.
I have it on 975 days. Yeah. Are you like the movie Bridesmaids where she's got like 30 bridesmaids dresses in her closet?
I started to feel bad for myself. I was a little bit. My bestie was in town from Portland, so that helped, you know, kind of level out my angst a little bit. But she's been with her partner over 20 years. And so I started to think my ex, so Cleveland, was an instant connection. We hit it off. We were exclusive pretty much before we met and just dove in. Like it was like kind of love at first sight, you know, which I do believe in with, you know, the chemistry and all that. So when we met up, it was just like, wow, you're my person. And we just made everything work. You know, it was that kind of like, we're committed to each other. Then all the other stuff you just make work. You know what I'm saying? Like you have that home base. So like you guys, you decided you wanted to have a home base. And so when I met Corey, that's the love bomb that got me. You know, I got love bombed. I didn't know I was getting love bombed because I was like, oh, this is what I want. I'm tired of slow burns that go nowhere. I'm going on these dates that are going nowhere. I'm tired. I don't have the energy. And then she came out hot and strong. It was just like, hey, you know, pretty much she said she loved me on the third day.
Yeah, that's love bombing.
Right. That's a love bomb. Okay. Yeah. Like literally said, I love you.
Even with Copper, I think we talked for like, I mean, how long are you talking to these people? We talked for like 3 weeks.
No, we're just talking like 3 days, and she was like, "I love you."
Yeah, that's love bomb.
Okay, 3 days. Yeah,
that's the official love bomb. Okay, when you haven't met someone, and they're instantly like professing love to you.
Professing love, and I'm the one, and she thinks this is going to be the person she's been looking for forever.
Red flag.
Do you think? Okay, normally I would have thought red flag.
Red flag.
But I just had that talk with myself about a month ago, you know, at the time, because I was like, no, I want this. You know, I'm going to hit it off, and it's going to be, you know, I'm looking for the one. It's going to be like I had with Cleveland, and this is it. So I fell in it myself, and I'm just feeling kind of dumb right now. Do you know what I mean? Where I'm just like licking my wounds because I feel like an idiot that I fell for it. But I went in with like, okay, I was trepidatious. I still was kind of the whole time. This is why I say I had occupational hazard too, because the reason we didn't make it I kind of kept seeing inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, but I can't let them go. And I don't know if that's an anxious response. Do you know what I mean? Where I'm like, well, you just said this and then you said that. Like, I feel like
Well,
I'm the
you're
word.
analyzing their thoughts.
Yeah, I'm like the
Yeah.
word
It's
police, you know?
definitely an
Yeah.
anxious attachment
Yeah,
thing.
I'm the word police.
Yeah.
And so I'm just, but I'm also looking for inconsistencies because I'm like, I'm not inconsistent. You know, if
Yeah.
anything, I'm pretty, we're both Taurus, we're stable,
Yeah.
we're consistent. I mean what I say what I mean. And so
Yeah.
I was hoping that was the case for her. And so when we started going along, I got the love bomb, blah, blah, blah. We met after that week, we had sex, and then I was feeling more vulnerable.
Now, who initiated sex? Was it
I
you
mean, we
or
both
them?
did.
You both kind of
Yeah, we were like,
but did
"Ooh."
you ever have the conversation like we're not gonna have sex?
No,
or,
we
like,
did
try
not
it?
have that conversation.
Okay.
No, it was more flirty.
You just let it kind of happen then.
I mean, we could have said no. We just didn't want to.
Yeah, but you didn't have those conversations like I'm not looking for booty call because I was very adamant. Like I was over the booty call stage, and then like we gotta have something or I'm not having sex with you.
I need to do that now.
Terrible sex is shitty.
It was wonderful sex.
Well,
yeah, it was mind blowing.
So whether you have terrible or really good sex, nonetheless, like,
right?
It's like I'm tired of letting people in my bed and turning into something.
Yep. So I went over to her house. We had great time. You know, she's like, I knew it when we met. We were going to be the one for each other, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling this.
Wow.
So I still kept kind of policing her words a little bit because she had two girlfriends prior to me that were going to harm themselves after they broke up. So I'm being vulnerable here. What do you think of that? Two outcomes, right?
I mean,
she's
that's like a pattern or something.
Right.
Like I would be like,
I brought it up, you know?
I mean, people don't like to talk about that, but that is one question.
Yeah.
And I know people don't like to talk about exes, but I think it's very imperative to say, hey, what happened in your marriage? Like, why did it go wrong? Like, what? Maybe we don't have conversations about them religiously, but like Hooks and I, we talk often about our exes. And it's not because we're like in love with them or pining of any sort, but we experienced a lot of trauma.
Right.
And we're not bonding on that. We relate to what's healthy now.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if I'm seeing a pattern and I'm like, whoa, holy shit, this person, you did that and two girls?
Two.
That's pretty significant.
I would like to talk to them. I would love to. The third part to this too was that she had a girl coming over that was kind of lightweight stalking her. And so I brought that up, and she didn't like the questioning, you know. And I was like, "Am I just a number here?" Yeah. Right, she felt like I was interrogating her, but I was like, "This seems like a pattern that I can't ignore."
And how does she have this many girls that are just that? Like
that's what I said. That's what I said.
Maybe because she love bombs.
I don't know.
Fall in love.
Thank you, buddy.
And so she has a type that she gets this to happen.
Right, because then I said my next sentence was, "Are you love bombing me?" So offended. She was so offended. She was like, "Why would you call me that? You do not think our love is true if you are calling me that." And then I was like, I mean, it's curious. I just gotta ask because again, occupational hazard. I can't turn this off in my head. Should I have shared that or not with her?
I mean, yeah, I think honesty is imperative, right? I think being able to say things like, hey, this is how I'm feeling.
Right.
Speaking from the communication lens of not avoiding our feelings.
Right.
Saying like, hey, I'm noticing that a lot of things you've told me, and I'm concerned about it. I would have brought up like therapy voice, right? But that's actually how I would talk about it.
That is good.
I'm very open. And that's how I communicate. I mean, that's how Hooks and I really communicated. And I think that's why it worked too and does work because we're very open. We're very honest. We talk about things. We problem solve and we solution. So I think right off the gate, if you would have came at her and she would have like been defensive and like then again you would have saw another flag like this isn't gonna work because you can't even communicate with me like now getting defensive. It was
a little defensive. It was like lightweight. I was like, where are we going? You know, like okay, I'll just kind of see.
This person also doesn't think they have any mental health issues or anything, right?
No, she doesn't. Okay. You know, and then when
obviously you've got to if you've got women wanting to self-harm, it just can't be a pattern,
right?
A coincidence,
right?
Every person I've dated afterwards are losing themselves,
right? Because I was like, if I wasn't secure after what just happened, you know, like I would feel a type of way. I'm just like how it ended, so I, you know, basically, so.
And being therapists, just in mind, like I study attachment and personality, and we know borderline and narcissist dance very well together. Narcissistic sister. I'm in for love bombing.
You know,
So not diagnosing.
No,
however,
yes, we got to say again, what's our disclaimer?
With, given the details and the
Yeah.
things, it is hard for us to sometimes not see these behaviors.
Right.
So maybe she attracts borderlines, women that are damsel in stress and get very emotional, have that anxious piece that get very deep off the edge.
Because it triggered me. I told you, I've sat here and said, I'm secure with, anxious. If I get triggered, I'm going to anxious. And that happened. And I saw it in myself, and I told her about it. And I was like, hey, this is something I struggle with. It's not a secret. I'm not going to, I definitely have anxious attachment when something's triggering me. That's my default. And we talked about it. And then she was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to be okay with that long term. And I was like, okay, pal, like you suck. I was just like, okay. I was like, well, then your love is conditional, but neither here nor there. And so then we met again at my house, again, had great mind-blowing sex. And then we go to talk again. And I was like, hey, because there's more, there's all these little things kept popping up, and I was questioning it and having those thoughts. And then she was like, you're a little too anxious for me, with this. And I was like, I'm not going to stay in this state. I was like, we're getting to know each other, and you're saying things that are triggering.
Yeah.
So
well, you're too anxious. That right there is like a very just not nice thing to say.
I was, I was like, well, and how do you feel too? Because I'm like, I want to be introspective. I want to hear what I'm trying to hear feedback, right? And not be like, that's you, not me. So I was like, okay, let me look at my behaviors where, it was more talking about it, where I was just questioning some things. I did say it like, how you worded it, I was trying to go that route too, but with a little more anxiety behind it, because I have somebody that I'm starting to care about. I'm believing the story they're telling me, so I am a little more like angsty about it than I wanted to be. And what the tipping point was started to be my schedule. You know how I'm crazy about my schedule because I just don't have time. And we were trying to plan time, and she was just like, I can compartmentalize really well, and I think you need to too. And I was like, thanks, pal. Like, okay. I looking back, I keep hearing different things. It was only 2 weeks. 2 weeks top. That was the whole length of this endeavor I had. So it ended with, because she was talking and she goes, I was like, just so you know, I'm dating with intention. The future is now. Here's another thing you can say about this. So mid-50s got me in a weird state all of a sudden, right? It kind of doesn't care. I feel fine. Like, I feel like I got my life ahead of me, but dating at this age is weirder, right? Circle that, because everybody I talk to in this age group is like, yep, that's a weird dating age. And I've been doing this weird thing to be vulnerable. So my parents are still alive. I see them a lot, or, like at least once a week because they're elderly. I take care of them, whatever. But they're also a good support system for me. And so I do see them. We hang out. And
God, you're not telling them about your dating escapades, are you?
Oh, God, no. No, my dad was like, Loie, where's your podcast? Because I just mentioned, I like, what are you doing? I'm going to my friends to do a podcast. Where's your podcast? I was like, Dad, you're never listening to it. I don't ever find it. I'm talking about dating. He was like, oh, okay. Like, they're old Italian Catholics. They did not. I was like, no, thank you for the support.
Especially knowing that you're.
If I knew they would listen, you would not know me. I would talk. So, I wouldn't talk about any of this, sex and all our stuff we talk about, toys and all that. And the more we're going to talk. So to be candid, they just can't listen. Anyway, so I'm afraid they're going to die. And I have this weird thing where I want to have a secure relationship where I have my partner before they pass away. Yeah. And it's putting me in this weird ass state. Right? Yes. And I'm just like, but I got to chill it out. You know what I mean? Because it's making me fall for a love bomber, which I normally wouldn't.
Yeah, but is it any different than segueing back to conversations about people you met with terminal illnesses or illnesses in general? Like, would you want to find your person and then they die on you?
True,
I guess there's no guarantees in life, right?
Guarantees.
That's some of the things I've been thinking about, like, oh, I have to have this hysterectomy. I just found my person. What if something bad happens,
right.
Your brain goes to that anxiety-driven part. But there is, anytime anything can happen. But just hearing that, like, you want to find your person, right? Or you die. I think that's everyone's goal, right? I don't know.
No, I've got friends that are solid single. They're happy.
Like, I don't like the relationship aspects, right?
I don't feel like that's never been me. I think we're similar that way, where we're both like, we love to love. We like to be with a partner. I feel more, I don't know, just secure, or
Yeah.
not secure, because I'm okay by myself, but just more fulfilled, I think.
Yeah.
Just sharing something
Yeah.
is nice, right?
Yeah.
And I go to plenty of things alone. I go with friends. I got a full life. And I think it's also because I have a good life. I feel positive overall, like good job, family, friends, blah, blah, blah. I want to share that with somebody, like I'm in a good space. I feel like I did the work, and now I'm like,
Yeah.
where's the prize?
Yeah.
Like,
It makes
and the
sense.
prize has been heartbreak. I've been letting let
Yeah.
down. So to end Corey, basically, I had said my intentions are to date. The future's now. I do want to get married one day. I do want to have a house, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, oh, I'm kind of thinking, maybe we should just be more of a slow burn. And when she said slow burn, I was like, something just triggered in me. I just couldn't let it go. This is where I have an anxious response, because I figured this out too. When she said it, I thought to myself, wait 24 hours and respond back. Nope, couldn't do it. I was like, audio.
Right.
Got right on my audio, because I was like, I'm going to say what I feel and just say
Right.
fuck it. Because I was like,
Right.
look, I'm not looking for any more slow burns. I've had plenty of them.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to be this, you're my person. Because then she was like, well, we still won't know each other a year from now. This is what took me.
Yeah, that's the word.
That's
I'm
that,
like,
yeah.
wait.
And I thought, if you're looking for red flags a year from now, you're going to find them. I wanted to go about this where you find your person, you lock in, and you're going to see some,
Yeah.
red
Right.
flags or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Because everybody's got baggage
Right.
and bullshit. I wanted my person to lock in, be like, I'm here with you through your bullshit. I told her I'd be there for her bullshit. And she was just like, we just won't know even by then, And I was like, this switcheroo is too much for my emotions. And so my audio back was, hey, if we're going to slow burn, to me, that's just dating.
Yeah.
We might as well date other people. I'm going to. She says she's not going to. She wants to work on herself for this next year or whatever she's doing. We should just be friends with no pressure. This is how she ends her response back to me. I should date. We're now friends with no pressure. And she's just going to take time to herself. That's kind of how we ended it. And then I said the next day, I kind of slept on it, and I was like, look, you're not my person. I wish you well. I don't know if we'll be friends in the future or not. We could circle back later, but I don't want to talk to you and do friendship things, because the other part, she liked the band Queen, and so I got tickets for this candlelight thing. I think it's here in Cincinnati, a candlelight thing. And so right, I was going to take her to that on Valentine's Day, and then I said, do you still want to go to this together? And she was like, no, too romantic. And I was like, so I have 2 tickets. So unfortunately, this won't air before then, February 14th. I'm just going to go by myself. I don't even care. Yep, I'm going to go and just sit. I have friends I could probably invite. I don't know. I'm talking to other girls I could probably invite, but part of me is like, just go alone. To be continued. We'll see what it comes up with
Do the 365
on the 14th. I don't know, pal. It's a long time.
Let them.
Yes.
Come on, it's great.
It is great.
I would love to have Mel with us one day.
I know, that would be.
Because she would be smacking you. Like,
yes, she would be.
Spend some time alone.
I've been alone a year and a half. I've just been waiting in and out.
There's some pattern. That's what I told you on the phone when we talked about this. Like some pattern that you're also attracting, because we're talking about her, right?
Yep.
Attracting people that are damsels in distress is probably attracting people that kind of ignites this anxious kind of behavior in us. But again, it's underlyingly working through the secure behaviors, or the attachment behaviors that become securely attached.
Right. I thought it was.
And I think you're secure when you're not in a relationship.
Yep, I am. I don't know what
the second you meet someone, you like these avoidant types.
I think it's the sex, so I got to leave that out. I just can't do it. It puts me in too much of an emotional state. So I'm gonna.
But what do you think about if you have sex with somebody and it's terrible? Like, you wait all this time and then.
Thank you. You got to add that to the pot. I'm trying to fix this. I don't know how.
No, I'm asking you.
Maybe 30 days, right? So let's
also. Before we talk about love, like, that's the thing. I think that word with Hooks and I, we didn't come in ornately love bombing.
Sure. I usually don't either.
Until after we were really intimate. And then I think we even said, like, we have love for each other.
Yeah.
We have these feelings.
Yeah.
We know it's coming. I don't think we said I love you. I'll just ask her. I think it was like at least 3 to 4 dates in.
I kind of thought about this too with love, because she was like, I can love easily, blah, blah, blah. I'm not in love with you, but I love you, kind of thing, right? And I was like, okay.
Fall out of love this quick.
That's what happened. I didn't even think about it that way. And I do think about layers of love. You go deeper, the more something happens and it pulls you together. So I was kind of thinking about it as that. And I was like, okay, I'm analyzing this. It's not the biggest red flag that's ever happened. We could stay in love and, or get in love and be right off in the sunset. But I think, yeah, I don't know with that I don't know why she backpedaled so quickly. I was, and I'm okay because it was only 2 weeks. So I'm going to say this because I was wondering with you, it's like, you had just said, it's like, I feel like I just am trying to catch things so quick now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm bringing things up, because I'm just like, that seems like at least an orange flag. Let me suss it out. And I think that's where it's coming across as anxiety. Whereas a part of me, it's just intuition too.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I had stuff stirring and I couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to master now is, because I had a twinge in me about a weekend. I twinged where I was like, I don't think this is your person, but I was like, shush, you got this, it's your person. And then I, didn't ignore it, but I came about it more in this, like, let me catch you in these things, right?
Yeah.
And so it came out in an anxious way. So I'm trying to do that somatic work to like dial that in so I stay secure and almost at an arm's length emotionally.
Yeah.
Just have that space so we could proceed like this.
100%. I think that's the biggest part is with women's, and we can talk about it hopefully with other people too, is I think lesbians or women in general, we tend to emotionally connect a lot faster because we talk for endless hours. We talked about it in session, I think it was
probably talk about it all the time. Yeah.
We talked about it. I talked to Copper 13 hours one day.
Yeah.
So you're building that emotional connection. So it's really hard to dismantle. I'm getting emotional with you, but I also stay guarded. But I remember going very early in with like hooks. Like, I don't want somebody that has kids. I don't want this. And she had kids, but then our kids were grown. So I was like, okay, that's doable. So it wasn't so much of a deal breaker, but making sure you have those things. And as soon as you come to a line of something that you don't feel comfortable with, you're like, well, how do I not ask these questions or let my anxiety kick in when you're feeling a red flag without being like, well, what was that about? Like, or then being defensive, like, God, I'm on trial. I think there's a subtlety to it. I do too. Where you don't say anything, and then maybe you just cut your ties.
Right, right.
You know what? Hey, this has been going really cool, but I just don't think you're my person. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then you could say, well, I've noticed, and then maybe that's how you dial it in, is saying, like, here's the laundry list of shit I'm seeing.
Okay.
Maybe just don't even tell them.
Yeah.
Just keep it back here.
Okay.
Pay attention.
Yep.
Pay attention.
Yep.
Pattern.
Yeah.
And then that's when you cut the cord. Right then.
It's not a bad idea, pal, because what I'm doing is not really working. So I'm down with that. I will say this too. My friend was in town right at the same time. I was going to this wedding. I had, I was dysregulated. I was out of my own routine. And so things were kind of coming in, and it threw me a little more than I would have dissected our things a little differently, instead of being like, I'm diving in and this is, I'm going to have what you and Hooks have now,
Right.
It's like, so.
Well, and they're probably hearing that. They're probably like, well, we're not even there yet, right? Like,
she was in it to win it. All in. I can't even tell you all the words she said. And I adore you and just all these things. What do you think happens then? Is it just pure avoidance? Like, because nothing major happened,
hearing her story, it sounds like she's an avoidant type.
Yeah.
Which, interestingly, like, avoidance, they're, if you look at some of their behaviorisms, when they're triggered, is criticism. An anxious person naturally criticizes because their anxiety's high, and they're like, if things aren't my way, I'm going to point it out and I'm going to tell you about it because it's giving me anxiety.
Yeah.
Where for an avoidant, they're used to just learning, figuring things out on their own, more natural. Yep. So if you bring highlight to it, they're like, I'm in trouble. I'm going to the principal's office.
You're right.
So it causes them some anxiety, but they don't show it the same as
you.
Their anxiety's pulling away, And so that's where you feel that love bomb just quickly disappear.
Okay, yeah.
Because the more you start going like, Well, I remember when we met, we were friends right out of the gate, but you still gave me a lot of burn and heat where you're like calling me pink flags. I wasn't necessarily red, but it was like, and I'm like, plus, who are you to tell me these things? I remember how defensive I was, but then I just stopped because I was like, you know what, we're not trying to date each other. Right. Mm-hmm. But I remember you would burn me with all the little things that you caught me doing.
Right.
You felt like wasn't
I'm glad
consistent.
You brought that up. Okay,
Well, and I noticed that, and that's why I said it to you when we talked on the phone.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have enough time to talk about it here, but it was like there's some pattern because for me, it caught me up where I was defensive, but I was just more like, fuck you. It was because we weren't trying to date. So I could be a little bit more backward with it and saying, well, And then we would come back around like, well, maybe we should date because, you know, we did have a lot of things in common and
Yeah.
we had all the boxes.
Yep.
But for
Yep.
me, it was like, well, I like more mass presenting lesbians. And, you know,
Would you have said my anxiety would have turned you off?
Yes.
Fuck off.
Yes.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Yes, because I felt it, and I'm attracted to avoidance too. And I think naturally you made me be more avoidant with you. And maybe it was because the attraction piece wasn't there, but I think that anxiety definitely had me like, whoa, she's too much for me. And that's not nice to say, but I think that's what the other person's feeling it. So I think that's probably what she was feeling was like, whoa, she's too much. I'm gonna have to always answer to her, or she's always gonna be like writing a book to me. Right. And that's what anxious people do.
Right.
I made sure when I dated Chris that I didn't do any of those things. I didn't past relationships. I would send them fucking books.
Yeah. I know we talked about that. Yeah.
I mean, even the one girl I dated before Copper.
Yeah.
She instantly saw that in me.
Okay.
And, like, blocked me.
Okay.
Because I was writing her book. And we were talking about Zodiac stuff. And I just remember she was so fucking rude. Typical avoidant. And I don't say that all avoidants are like this, but we were exchanging, and she was a Trump supporter too, so we were very different on the sides of perspection, and so I was texting her about something. She goes, "Do you always text with such length?" And I was like,
"See, I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's how I feel."
And I was like, "How the fuck do I get to know you?"
Right, I feel that too.
I'm not asking you stuff,
right?
So, long story short, she just basically was like, "We're not compatible," and she was just rude about it.
Okay, yeah. I kind of remember you bringing that up.
Yeah, this was another dating girl. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I remember going to my ex, and I was like in tears. I'm like, am I this type of person? Like, she was like, no, you just are you. You're gonna have to find somebody like that. So when I met Hooked, I can remember in the beginning I was concerned because she's not as gabby. Yeah. She's very much she will open up, but she's not out the gate like you and I. We're like book sharers. We're very word vomit people. We're open. Yeah. So I was very much not like that with her. I was just more natural. I allowed myself to not and open
That's the key word, buddy.
Yes, natural.
It is.
And so, and because I think it just felt right, it allowed us to be natural, maybe. Yeah. But I remember coming to her, and she can speak of this. You know, I sent her a message because I got in my little head. Yeah. And I was like, I just feel like we're not intellectually compatible. I was like, she's not asking me all these questions. Yes. She doesn't want to talk. Okay. She's not as gabby. Thank you. Because that's how. Sending me those messages. But it was funny. She called me out like in the first week or two. It was like, I noticed you don't say good morning because we used to salutate, and you said the same thing to me. Like, you don't say me. And I was like, well, we're not dating. Okay. Right? I did not say you don't say good morning. I don't owe that to you, did not say that to you. This is scratch for the record. It was something around the rounds of like, you're getting way too ahead of yourself here. Yeah, I will find this text. I know you will, but you gotta find it. It was something along the lines of, you like that in a relationship. I'm like, well, we're not dating, so I'm not doing that with you. Oh, so, okay. Yeah, you did something you did say something to that degree. But and so when I met her, she called me out with that. She was like, hey, I text you good morning, but I was being not intentional yet. And I told her, I was like, well, because we're not dating, I'm dating other people. Okay. So I don't have to give you that part of me yet. True. Where she was doing that, and I was like, that's okay with you, but don't expect that from me because I'm keeping my heart guarded on purpose, and I'm being very mindful of the way I act. So a couple weeks go by, and that's when I was like, well, I feel like she's not giving me all this stuff, right? So I sent a message to my cousin, and I said, hey, you know, these are the things I'm feeling. I sent her something, and she's very overwhelmed. It was like a book. It was like all these questions, but it was like a lot. And she read it and was like, that's a lot. And I could feel, if I would have saw her, she was at home when I sent it, I could see her face, like, trying to process. I'd ask her, like, what if she was a Lego, what type of Lego she would be, and like all these deep questions. And she was probably high. She's so sweet. Yeah. But I know she was just like, where the fuck which one do I pick to answer? Like multiple questions or whatever. So I sent it to my cousin, and she goes, Olivia, even I would be overwhelmed. Yeah. So that's just a dial back into you, like, would you have dated me because you're anxiety? And that wasn't necessarily me being anxious, but I think anxious people tend to like to know a lot and like to really dissect. And it is personality too, right?
Right.
To have that kind of more intellectual, like
Yeah.
knowing everything about the person. But once we got past that, I feel like we just naturally started getting to know each other.
I will say this with you and I didn't think we were going to date because we did state that off the bat. You know what I mean? And so
But we did have banter sometimes where
definitely,
like you would send a photo. I'm like, Lois, why are you sending that? We're not dating. And you'd be like, well, you know. And so we
what
had,
photo?
I don't want to tell people.
Oh, okay. Going out photo.
Why are you sending this photo?
Okay,
because I think there were moments where we were like, well, what's wrong with me? Why wouldn't we date each other? Because we did have a lot of banter that I feel like really in most cases would have said like, why don't we work? Like, I think it was a physical attractiveness in the sense of like, I like more masculine presenting women and you're more Tom. And, and you like femmes, but you said you didn't like blonde. So you still would have settled for a blonde. I don't know, pal. So we had banter like that, and I think that's where we kind of get off. But we were very clear. Yeah. Like, we're not dating. We're using each other as friends. I just thought it was buffers. Cool to find a therapist, and you were a drummer, and I was a musician, and a therapist, and I was like, wow, how
we're gay. We got all these great things.
And one of the persons I was talking to you from Kentucky, she had on her profile a disclosure. She found one of her best friends on a dating site. I was like, yeah. So when I saw that, and then I filtered through and saw you, I was like, I think we could be really good friends.
You did say that.
You're going through some shit.
Well, and I think what was good about us was, because you have a strong personality, we could always say those things to each other. You know what I mean? You kind of got to see more of me than somebody would. Do you know what I mean? So I will say, you and I, because we stayed time on the phone and stuff like that, I really didn't get to that point with Corey. I was being mindful of my anxiety. Do you know what I mean? And because, you know, it's this dialogue, you know, that whole thing of like, trying to protect your heart, trying to get to know somebody. What are the steps you have to get to know somebody? But I also had told her I didn't even want to hear about her past history right now, because I told you I didn't want to keep gathering data on people, because this was the third girl in a row that I was collecting data on. I knew their psychosocial history, but didn't know who they were in the present time and if we were even going to make sense. So I had said that to her, like, hey, can we just start right here for now and go and see? So I was trying to do things. I don't know why I let it get so trampled. That's where I'm going. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why I lost that, like that trampling of my own boundaries that I had going into this, and being like, I don't want to hear it about it. I want to stay to see if we have this connection. I want to do it at this pacing. And I don't know. My brain just got like firing. And so now I'm trying to do more somatic work. This is also another good word to use that I hear about it so much. Olivia might be able to talk about it a lot more, but like, just to get into your body and notice things and identify them, right? And just say, where do you feel this anxiety? I'm feeling it in my heart. I'm feeling it in my chest. I'm feeling it in my legs or lightheaded or whatever those words are. And then it dials down the reaction, you know, and then you can have a clearer mind to go forward. So this is kind of where I'm at right now with my healing journey, if you will. So I don't know if, I'll say this. I don't think my anxiety was the catalyst for why this wasn't going to work. Do you know what I mean? I think there was all these pieces. It came out more anxious than I would have liked it to in our dialogues, but I don't think I was wrong. So that's where I'm trying to find this balance. And I think you're right, because we have our brains. We're like, boop, 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 boop. We pick up on stuff all the time. We study human behavior. You know, we've done this for a living. I'm 25 years in. I'm sure, you know, you're around that time. So it's hard to turn those things off, but how much do you share, right? You know what I mean? And so it's got to just be this, like, I'm going to just soundboard it with myself, right? You know, and I just take my own notes and not go present it to that person, right? Because not a lot of people are ready for it.
The key is the natural part of getting it in here. Not going like
out there,
exploding it out here, because that's what anxious people tend to do. They're more external with it, where avoidance are more internal with it.
Absolutely.
And that's why you feel that pull instantly when you start to go, you're like, oh my god, you just instantly start. Although you want to find secure people, but so it says loudly that this person wasn't secure either.
Yeah, absolutely.
They would have been able to hold space.
All she would have had to do was hold space.
Hold space.
Hold space.
The second that I brought that to her, like with that, like she didn't like shut me out. Now, if I would have kept doing that,
I didn't.
I think she would have been like,
I got it for the record.
This is too much.
I said, because I really can teeter on this secure part. I did say, I was like, look, I know this is just my brain working overtime right now.
Mhm.
I'm triggered. I'm scared to fall in love.
Yeah.
I can feel this,
Yeah.
building up in me. I
Yeah.
just need reassurance. I won't stay in this space because
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to stay here. I'm going to work through it.
Yeah.
I just need you to give me a little bit of space. The other side to this is going to be great. Just give me a minute. It's like
Yeah.
she didn't give me 2 days with it. This is what I'm talking about, pal.
Ugh.
I wasn't sitting in this rest like 2 days of this, and she
Yeah.
was just like, "I'm done,"
Yeah.
which is okay.
Which is where you need to be. You need
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
able to do that as well. That I'm done piece, like without saying it to them, because you don't owe them an explanation.
yeah. I am trying that. I feel like that trips me up too because the different people I'm talking to on the apps now. It's like how how long do you wait till you respond to somebody?
Yeah, it's hard.
I can't figure that out.
Yeah, because if you go right away, you're showing yourself as available.
Yeah.
If you read it right away, you're available.
Yeah.
Yeah, pacing it, because that's what
I'm
I've
questioning that
mastered
now.
'cause, like I noticed with hooks, I just took a whole different approach.
Yeah.
I didn't answer right away.
Yeah.
And she would bring that up. Like, I noticed it's been hours, like, and I was purposely doing those things because before I was so available, I was quick to show red.
Yeah.
The people that had red receipts on or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't owe you any of this.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
in the beginning, like when I'm getting to know you until I know I'm actually wanting to date you exclusively,
Yeah.
I don't think we owe anyone
I agree.
any part of ourselves. And
Yeah.
I think that's what's hard with people like us that have more anxious attachment is
Yeah.
like we want to like open book it and like
Yeah.
lay it all out there.
Yeah.
Like, this is all.
Do we match or not? That's
Right.
like you lay it out, I'll lay it out. We'll make a decision,
Yeah.
then we can walk away. I'm
Yeah.
okay even walking away. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's what I was gonna say before with those girls, those 3 girls that went off the hook for Corey.
Yeah.
I was okay. I was like, hey, I'm probably not gonna talk to you. You
Yeah.
know, I wish you well, goodbye.
Right.
And I'm not talking to her.
Right.
We're done. I will say this:
Where are we at?
I was on the apps and I saw her on the apps.
No shit.
Seriously.
I think when we wrap into session 5
Yeah.
here, we'll pick up on this because we're gonna have a special guest that we're gonna
Special
talk
guest.
about.
What
with
minutes
this.
are we at? Can you see?
We're pretty close to
Okay.
wrapping up. So
Okay. Yep.
I think it's okay.
I'd love to wrap this up right now.
think-
I've
I think
I've
we
been
did
hot
a great
seat.
note. Seeing her on the freaking dating app is great.
I went out of the hot
I think
seat.
we're going to talk about this in our session 5. We're going to have special guest Hooks, and we're going to bring her in to talk about her dating experiences and some life things. And so I think this would be a good place to tailor in because we're going to talk about some more LGBTQI stuff. We're talking about pansexuality in our next session, as well as their dating experiences. Just adding more people's story and chaos that have happened in their lives. As we know, it's an ongoing thing for the dating world right now, and just mental health issues and everything all tied into one. So we will wrap up and bring back in pansexuality, and then we'll follow up with seeing her on the dating sites when that was like real, and where you're at currently, as well as our special guest. So
I will say this, pal, too, and in doing this, I appreciate our podcast because I'm being vulnerable on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, I think because I've been studying attachment theory as well. We got avoidant, we got anxious, we got secure, we got disorganized.
Fearful / disorganized.
Yeah.
They call it one, but we'll call it but they're the same.
Because I like this because I've been doing I've been watching videos. You sent me some videos. I've been watching YouTube things and stuff. And I appreciate people sharing. I mean, like, because the couple you sent me, she was like, I was an anxious attached person. And I was like, thank you, sister. Like, let's hear this. And so I don't mind sharing as well because I think it does help that we're all kind of in this together. I would love to hear from an avoidant personality though and be like, I do watch those. Okay. All right. Well, let's get her in here then. And let's take a break and we'll come back. I guess we have we session 5 coming up.
Gender too.
We'll get that
of like attachment styles because even in attachment with an avoidant, they have an anxious side or highly dismissive side. So you can still be avoidant with some anxiety tendencies, which is interesting to see. So having all different perspectives will be great.
So. I think it'll be helpful too for whoever watches this. Somebody can relate on some part of this, right? So that's our goal.
So just know anything we talk about, any names or things that we use, or
changed everything.
We change it over, and there's no violations for anybody's privacy.
Right.
This is just candid conversation, and we're not diagnosing anyone. So thanks for stopping in with Liv and Loie.
Liv and Loie, thank you. Convos and chaos.